What's up? What's happening? Welcome in. George Balekji here with my main man, Travis Thomas. This is Foxborough Rush. If you guys don't know, we got a nice new studio, new digs, new hour.
Yes.
Live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. on NESN Nation. And as always, you can catch our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen or watch your podcast. And if you go on our YouTube page, give the thumbs up to NESN, subscribe to NESN, give us a thumbs up on the videos, and leave comments. We'll bring you guys in on a mailbag like we have later on in the show. T, my man, how we doing?
We're multi-platform. That's what we are.
Yeah.
How about that?
Multifaceted. Multi-platform.
Yeah.
But you just need help from our guy Kyle to figure out your mic.
Listen, the mic, to be fair, it was fine. Then I came in and messed everything up, if we're being honest. Like, the people around here do a great job. It's me. I bring the chaos. But I own it.
There you go. Hey, it's all about teamwork. That's what makes it all come together.
I always say every great championship team has one knucklehead. All pro, baby.
And I'm the other knucklehead, but you make me seem like I'm in line and a straight-A student.
Absolutely.
As we're talking about our teamwork here, we'll get into the team, the New England Patriots, forged in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Their multi-part Patriots rendition of Hard Knocks came out. It debuted hour 13, a mammoth of an edit. Hey, smoke him if you got him with the footage.
Yeah.
A little 30 minutes too long for me, but hey, that's not the editor's fault. It's, people make decisions above them. But we're going to get into that. We got two excerpts we're going to show too, especially in the draft room. Then Tim Plough, the college coach, UC Davis, for Lan Larison, the Patriots undrafted free agent. He caught up with our guy, Sean McGuire, on NESN.com. So we have some sound from Tim about Lan Larison and his usage. We'll go through. Talks to Brock Purdy with his new extension, what that means for Drake May, too. And then we got a mailbag as well.
It's a full show right there. If I watch this show, I would enjoy this.
Oh, you're going to enjoy it. Let's get into it with the start on Forge in Foxborough.
Okay.
So first off, this could have been 3 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 hours. The fact that Patriots Productions and the team is giving this type of access and a peek behind the curtain of everything how the first episode was from Vrabel's hire to him putting together his staff to them at the Combine to them at the NFL Draft, the conversations after, behind the scenes stuff. Unheard of when it comes to New England Patriots, obviously when Bill Belichick was a head coach. That's the first big step. You see this. I liked it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
But the access they're giving the fans, I think, is brilliant. And not just Patriots fans, NFL fans, I think, is amazing.
This is why we make a great team, you and I. Because when you told me about this, I originally thought it was a series, like it is, right?
Yeah.
When I looked at the duration of said episode, I said, oh, this isn't a series. This is actually like a full-length doc that they've done. And then sure enough, it is a series. It was just too damn long. I did not watch this, George. I did not have this kind of time in my day yesterday to carve to watch this. However, my timeline was flooded all weekend long with clips from this. And I know we're going to get into some, but listen, Mike Vrabel, from what I saw, looked like the star of the show, as he should be, of course. I am waiting for more Drake May. I guess they didn't go too much in Drake May just yet. But Mike Vrabel, at least in the early givings of this series, episode 1, looked like the star to me. Everything I saw on my timeline was Vrabel quotes, Vrabel leading, showing different segments from this. So I'll check it out for sure, and I'll take your word for it that it was good. Although, again, when I looked at the duration, I said, okay, I see where you're coming from, too, in that it was a little bit too long.
Yeah, and this is, storytelling. You establish a head coach.
Yes.
They established Elliott Wolf at the end.
That's right.
But it was all Vrabel up front.
Right.
And again, there were scenes like this could have been 45 minutes, 40 minutes, and I think it still would have been good.
I would have watched it then.
There was a lot of surface level minutia.
Yeah.
And it didn't get good until they got to the draft. Now that's when I perked up the phone calls of them trading for draft picks. And the dynamic you saw with Vrabel, Elliott Wolf, and Ryan Cowden.
Yeah.
But this was all Mike Vrabel. And I think what's important is Vrabel guy. We always hear about it from the players, right?
Yeah.
We know they got to be smart. We know they got to be hardworking. We know they have to be selfless. But you have people that were, whether an area scout, national scout, Elliott Wolf, whoever, saying this is what a Vrabel guy is. Smart, physical, loves football, program fit, wired right, fast, attacking, explosive. Toughness is a non-negotiable. The little things. You can hear it from Vrabel at the podium, but the people, and hearing from the scouts, like, that's what they start with. Who's good? Who's talented? All right. Do they have all this? Yes. All right, let's move forward. You just see the process of them picking players that fit in New England.
Yeah. One thing I thought about, too, Forged in Foxborough, I love the title, but I also thought, well, Bill Belichick was here. This would have never even been possible.
No chance.
So while you're talking about Mike Vrabel and all the attributes he looks for in a player, The fact that this was even done, that
Yep.
this series was done, and it was long. By the way, episode 1, we're kind of taking shots here. 30 minutes too long, you said. I didn't watch it because of how damn long it was. The reality is this. It's long because you have such good content.
Yeah.
So the fact that Vrabel is the star of the show and the fact that they are able to do this in this new world of Vrabel, and this would have never happened in Bill Belichick's world, I think speaks a lot to Mike Vrabel, the man and the head coach.
Yeah, let's get to the first snippet I found. So this is Elliot Wolf talking about the process for Mike Vrabel leading into the draft. And you hear from Ryan Cowden and the head coach of Mike Vrabel as well. Check it out right here.
I haven't ever done a process exactly like this. How regimented it is, how controlled it is. It's been really cool to see that come to fruition.
Cleveland has traded its pick. Jacksonville is on the clock.
I've known Elliot for a long time, just being in the scouting profession. To describe the relationship, it's one that's a high level of communication. There's a willingness to challenge each other. There's a willingness to challenge ideas, and that's been a big part of our relationship.
Jacksonville has submitted its pick. The Giants are on the clock.
Being able to work with Elliott and Ryan and Cam Williams, that everybody back there that put so much time into it, and it wasn't about any one person. It was about this football team getting great players and great people.
Giants have submitted its pick. New England is on the clock.
Why don't you give Will Campbell? Let's do it.
Regimented, controlled from Ryan Cowden, high level of communication, challenge each other, talking about him and Elliot Wolf.
Yep.
That was the biggest takeaway from episode 1. Go watch it. Watch it from start, especially if you're a Patriots fan, not just a football fan. You'll love it. But that was the biggest takeaway. Hearing what Elliot Wolf learned from Mike Vrabel. I've never been in a process like this. The guy grew up in draft rooms, so that was startling. Like, what do you mean you've never been a part of a process like this? How did you learn? And would you just go in with Vrabel always said we have option 1, 2, 3. If we don't get 1, we go to 2. If we don't get 2, we go to 3, etc. Like that.
Yep.
But the regiment control, when you know you plan for every single outcome and you know all your options, that's having control in a scenario that you cannot control. They cannot control the draft. They cannot control what other teams do. And Ryan Cowden, Mike Vrabel's leading the front office decisions. Elliot Wolf is the number 1 in the front office. Ryan Cowden's the number 2. And it seems like this, but for him and Elliot Wolf to have a past experience, Cowden mentioned the high level of communication, the willingness to challenge each other. That's what we want. That's smart collaboration. Cowden, football guy. Wolf, football guy. Mike Vrabel, football guy. All different paths and avenues how they got to this point, but they work well together, so it seems, and they're willing to challenge each other, and that's the most important thing.
What I got from that clip is all off season and leading up to the draft, you and I and other shows went through this whole, well, who has the final word? Who's the alpha dog in the draft room? Is it Elliot Wolf? Is it Mike Vrabel? Is it someone else? And this clip, just this clip alone, showed me it was Mike Vrabel from the beginning.
Yeah.
Not to say it wasn't collaborative. To your point, everyone was involved, all hands on deck. And we think they did a good job on draft night. But Mike Vrabel was the guy.
Yes.
He was the alpha and the omega at the end of the day in terms of the last word.
Yeah, and what I liked is some of the things you see too. You heard from Cameron Williams a lot, and that was a guy who was a director of pro scouting. Now with Nebraska is their general manager. But also at the draft, it's Mike Vrabel and Elliot Wolf sitting next to each other in the suite, communicating a lot. Then in the war room, it's Mike Vrabel, Elliot Wolf, Ryan Cowden. And it's simple, and I will 100% read between the lines. If the seats were flipped and it was Vrabel, Cowden in the middle, and Wolf on the outside, that would be the red flag. You see some Alonzo Highsmith in there. He is basically the czar, the head of football operations, a guy with a lot of experience. Didn't I see Matt grow, but he looked like he was basically a calculator.
Yeah, pretty much.
The right people are in charge, and I think that's what's important.
I also love the other angle of, because we always see the player perspective. When their phone rings, hello? Oh, hi, Mr. Kraft. Yeah, I can't wait to be a Patriot, right? We always see that part of it. It's cool to see them in that room. Moving, shaking, making things happen, and then go, get Will Campbell on the phone. I haven't really seen that angle of it, so it's cool to see it from that perspective.
And you see the process. There was no trades. It was Giants picked. He said, get Will Campbell on the phone. They knew what they were doing. Vrabel's first words to him, too, you're not going to put me on my, again, Vrabel's, and Will Campbell's laughing. 1,000%.
He
will.
Mike.
Now, here's one where a trade went down, but the Patriots decided to stick and pick. This is the true look of the dynamic. Who does what? And also how they work together. Check it out right here.
We are debating right now. Yep.
Chicago wants to just flip and give us a 7th.
Flip and give us a 7th.
They're next.
I mean, who do we feel better about at 69? You know what I mean? Pick one of these receivers we like.
You're saying?
Or Henry. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, Tomo. We'll trade.
We're leaning towards picking, yeah.
I think you know what's going.
What? Do you have something else in mind? 58, 79, next year 3.
Right.
Yeah.
It goes back to where do we want to go with this 20 players, or do we want to take the guy who thinks has the biggest impact?
You guys want to do this? Who wants to do it?
I think it's worked.
Yeah, it works.
I think it's
Fielding offers.
I think it's a Bill Peck for him.
Pick, okay, you're out. All right, thanks.
It's a trade.
Yeah, get Travion Henderson on the phone.
Call.
Yeah, you got it.
So you see the dynamic and how
Yeah.
the conversation went down. First, Chicago wanted to go from 39 to 38th
Yes.
to take Travion Henderson through an extra 7th. But Vrabel said, okay, who do we like at 69 then? Is there a receiver? Like, we
Right.
are going to miss on our guy
Or do
here.
we like
so they
our
said
guy?
no.
That's right.
But then the Texans came along, and that's Nick Caserio leading that front office. It would have been pick 58,
Yes.
pick 79, next year's pick.
Better deal.
They would have had picks 58, 69, 77, 79.
Yes.
So they
Better
would have
deal.
had 5 picks in the top 80.
That's right.
They went to do it.
Yep.
That's my thing is Elliot Wolf said, if he wants to do it, you guys down? And they said, yeah.
Yeah.
They want more options.
That's
they
right.
want more swings at the tree with the axe.
That's right.
They want more opportunities to get players that can impact.
Yep.
But as you saw Wolf right there, you said, oh, you're out, you're not going to do it. Maybe
right.
they're using the Patriots for leverage.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
They stuck. They got Travion Henderson, who was their guy. It was interesting, though. There was a lot on Twitter and some articles written like they love Travion Henderson so much they turned down the Texans. From what I see there, the Texans said no. They went, but then the decisiveness. Cool, we don't have that. They didn't try to trade out.
That's right.
They turned around and went with their guy right away in Henderson.
Hey, regardless of this clip, regardless of all the talk, Travion Henderson's the story here. I think that was the right move, and I've said on this show time and again, I still believe it. When we get to training camp, I hope I'm right as we start hearing stories. I think Travion Henderson has a real opportunity with the Patriots to earn his way as a starting running back. Not to say they're not going to run the ball by committee. We know that that's coming. But I think Travion Henderson, with his tool set that he does have, has the ability to be the feature back. We haven't seen it. We didn't see it in college either because he had another great back next to him as well. But I think here in New England, he has the opportunity to possibly be the guy.
Yeah, and I think if he's a high-impact player no matter what, like that's what I'll take with the Patriots.
Absolutely.
And we always go back and forth. You go, the guy, I'm like, I don't care who the guy is. I care
Yep.
that the run game's good.
Yep.
But that's another conversation another time. What I love, too, is Will Campbell. Mm-hmm. The second he gets off the plane, he's thanking fans. Mm-hmm. Through a fence, he's like, hey, I wish I could go over there and hug you guys in a Louisiana accent.
Of course.
Thanks for welcoming me. I swear to God, the first guy to talk to him had the most South Shore, Taunton, Boston accent in the most beautiful
Really?
way possible. I love the town of Taunton.
Yeah.
Nothing but tremendous people have come out of Taunton from the
Facts.
people that I know.
Facts.
Terrific people. And I just love that moment of Will Campbell, Louisiana
Yeah.
accent from Monroe, Boston accent. It's just
Crazy.
perfect.
It is perfect.
It's just perfect.
But you know what, though? In all seriousness, while we talk about those two, because it is very different living in the South and then living here. However, one thing about here that I love, they're going to love Will Campbell. I mean, the fans love him now, but he hasn't played yet. But he embodies Boston in the sense of he's undersized. And leading up to the draft, everyone said he's not a tackle. He's got T-Rex arms.
Shoulders
and all
look
this nonsense.
slim.
He does look slim. But guess what he's done thus far?
Yeah.
He put Vrabel on his arse. He certainly showed at LSU he can play. He has a dog mentality. I mean, we talk about it. The guy's a certified psycho in a good way. So, I mean, they're going to love him because he embodies everything. Blue collar, tough guy. Everyone wrote you off. No, he's going to go out there and pancake peeps. And because of that, Patriots fans will love him. So he'll fit right in around here.
No, he will 100%. And you see the lead up going up as well. And them talking about Will Campbell. And also, again, in the prep, at the Senior Bowl, scouts pointing out Kyle Williams and how much they love him and saying he was the best receiver. And that was a third-round pick.
Yeah.
Their experience with Joshua Farmer at the Senior Bowl. That was a Ryan Cowden guy.
Yep.
You see the collaboration of who was picked. I also love the players we saw, Devin McCourty. We saw Lawyer Malloy, who I know is still hurt from when he was traded from the Patriots. But that wasn't Kraft. That was Bill Belichick doing that.
Sure.
It's the dive into the history.
Yep.
The guys that played with the Mike Vrabel and then being brought into this. Also, I got to shout it out right off the top, off. You have an hour 15.
Yeah.
5-6 minutes in. They attacked why Karen Gorigian gets the first question of every presser.
Oh, really?
And she goes, I think it's out of respect to my age. No, Karen, it's because you're a GOAT. You're Armenian and you're a GOAT. I just love that they did that. And it was like a full 3 minutes on Karen.
The first 3 minutes?
They're talking Vrabel, and it's all the Vrabels. Karen, you up first. Karen, what you got?
Man,
Karen,
shout
what
out
question
to
do you have?
Karen, man.
Oh, she's the best. She's the
Shout
best.
out to her.
She covered him as a player, and she goes, that's why she's an institution.
I mean, listen, it's a different aura. It's a different energy around Vrabel. I mean, look, our version of Bill Belichick, I don't know what the hell happened once he left here, but our version of Belichick, he was miserable with the media. He didn't want to talk to you. Half the time, we didn't want to talk to him either. He was so damn grumpy. Vrabel's not going to, take any nonsense. Don't get me wrong here. And he's not going to give you all the trade secrets either. But he has mastered the art of saying something. Giving you a soundbite probably goes back to player days, because this is what players master. They don't really tell you anything, but they're going to give you something to put in your news package for the evening or your story if you're writing for the paper. That's Vrabel. I feel like he'll tell you something. He'll give you a soundbite without telling you too much. And if nothing else, he's a little more pleasant. Now, we'll see. This team starts losing games. Yeah. Okay, all bets may be off.
He could be prickly, but.
Yeah, exactly. This could be Belichick, again. But it seems to me like so far he's going to be someone who's a little more open with the media too.
Definitely. I like the snippet they had too, digging up some practice footage. When he was with the Patriots, Bill Belichick going up to him asking about a certain player. And he was saying, have you seen his stance? Anything from it? When he does this is the play. When he does that, that's a play.
Right.
Bill Belichick, knowing Mike Vrabel is smart enough to grasp what he's saying there and going, and not even just like showing it to him, going, watch a film and you'll see when he does this, this happens.
Yeah.
When he does that happens. And we saw all the B-roll.
He's coached against Belichick and done a great job and beat him in the playoffs. So we know the dude's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. I just loved the peek into of what it gave us.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. Will the next one be like 3 hours? I don't know.
I hope not. I really want to get involved. I mean, look, Pat's peeps, you've done a great job putting this together. This is long as hell, man. For an episode 1?
Yeah.
I mean, damn. You should have just made it one long piece. Just make it one. But I'll roll with you. I just got to carve out some time.
We'll start a documentary critique podcast.
Oh.
Feedback to the editors, the shooters, everything. They did terrific.
Facts.
But from the top, it's a little bit of 1 hour 15 is a little long.
It is
Hard Knocks doesn't even mess with that.
That's what I'm saying.
This is their version of Hard Knocks.
It is.
It is also an extension of their PR, though. I want to end with this. Because when Hard Knocks does it, it's NFL Films. It's not HBO Real Sports that films that. It's NFL based out of Jersey.
Right.
With a team that they are documenting and following in the offseason.
Sure.
Having input, don't show this, don't show this.
Right.
This one, it's smart. You see, it's how the industry goes. The Patriots have their own podcast. They got their own reporters. All this, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But this is fully in-house. Again,
Self-contained.
it was surface level for me.
Sure.
I had to wait 50 minutes to get something that
you
piqued my interest.
I tell you one damn thing. Episode 2, because it doesn't sound like episode 1, there was a ton of Drake May. Episode 2,
it will be.
I want all Drake. I need a Drake episode. Whether it's 2 or 3, I don't care, but he deserves his own. I want to see how he works in the offseason. I want to see him and Josh McDaniels figuring it all out. I want to see him and the receivers. I want to see him, because he's him. I need an episode for Drake May, period.
It's coming.
Hopefully it's episode 2.
Hopefully.
So when are these released?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It dropped probably on a Friday night, but it's on YouTube.
So maybe Friday night. All right.
Watch it.
I know.
Check them out. They're good. But also, always make sure to check out Foxborough Rush, though, of course. When you
don't forget about us.
Subscribe to Nest and give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. We'll bring you in on the mailbag. Of course, we always love to do that. Conversation isn't just about the Patriots and their high picks. It's also their undrafted free agents. Coming up after the break, we have the UC Davis head coach of Lan Larison and what he sees in the undrafted free agent. The next McCaffrey, find out after this break. Back on Foxborough Rush, George Balekji, Travis Thomas, Sean McGuire of NESN.com. That's Mac. How we doing, my man?
I'm great, George. How are you guys?
Doing good. So, Sean, we know you caught up with the head coach of UC Davis, Tim Plough, correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously the head coach for Lan Larison, Plough, the undrafted free agent out of UC Davis, freak athlete, played every position, special teams contributor. We'll get into that. But as I always like to start, when I love that you reach out to these college coaches, high school coaches, what was something that stuck out to you? We know what Lan Larison brings to the table. Running back background, athletic enough to play receiver, good route runner, can see him in the slot, gunner, returner. But what's something you learned away from what we know on the field about Lan Larison?
Yeah, and I to what your point is, I think we do know a lot of the on-field stuff. One thing that really stuck out to me, and kind of an example of the character, I guess, when you're talking about Lan Larison, he turned down like $500,000 going into his 5th year. It sounds like he had a lot of SEC schools, a lot of Big 12 schools kind of coming for him, and giving him money in NIL money. And he was a captain at UC Davis going into his last year. And he went to Tim Plough, and the way Coach Plough described it, he was like, Lan was really emotional in the moment when he was making that decision. But the fact that Larison didn't have a lot of college offers coming out of high school, I think it was actually only UC Davis that had that offered him, and so he kind of like stayed. He stayed committed to him, and he's like, I'm a captain going into my last year. I don't feel like it's right to go chase money and kind of chase the bag, I guess, if that's how you want to put it. So he stuck at UC Davis. Obviously, he had an insane final season, his 5th season, record season for him. So that was definitely one thing that stuck out. I think there was another one that stuck out, and kind of two of the similar, character aspect sort of things. So Lan Larison, he tore a ligament in his ankle. And it was like a playoff game, UC Davis playoff game at the end of the season. And the way that Tim Plough is kind of telling it, he's like, that cost him the Senior Bowl. That cost him the Combine. Like, he would have went there. He would have performed well there. And you probably don't get him as an undrafted guy if that didn't happen. And a lot of, the work ethic aspect of things as well. Lan Larison came back after 9 weeks. He was initially told 14 weeks, so about a month and a half before schedule, he came back. He did everything at the pro day. They were pretty much the coaches were pretty much like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this at the pro day. And he did it all. So it was, I think a lot of those, character and toughness and those sorts of stories are, that's what you get from these, intel from the coaches.
Yeah, and I mean, that's Lan Larison. I love that you point that out. I mean, turning down $500,000 because that's a guy, he bet on himself. Now, if he gets to the NFL, sticks on a roster, makes it down the road, he can make more money.
Oh, yeah.
$500,000, tough to pass up on. But if you're going from UC Davis to the SEC, who knows what injuries could occur, bigger, faster, stronger at that level, get to the NFL, get that long money. Here's head coach Tim Plough on what he sees in Lan Larison from his interview with Sean that makes him ready for the NFL.
Well, I think his ability to catch the football out of the backfield is elite. I would imagine already he's got elite ball skills for professional football level. And, historically in the Patriot offense, the tailbacks are a really big weapon in the pass game. So I think that stands out to me. If you watch his tapes, I mean, just his ability to catch a football with one hand, his dexterity, eye-hand coordination, ability to run after the catch. I think that's a big deal. I think the other thing that makes him a varsity player for professional football is his versatility, because he's going to start on all 4 special teams. I mean, he was the best player in the country at our level, and he led our team in tackles on the punt team. How many star players are going to do that? So he was an All-American kick returner as a freshman. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to start on kickoff return, punt, punt return, and he's going to be elite at that. And in the NFL, you got to create value. So if you're 3rd or 4th tailback on the roster, start on all 4 special teams, that type of versatility is very, very unique. And you see that, in the Patriots' history with a guy like Slater for all those years. Those are things that Lan knows. I would also say probably the last thing would just be the humility of that. He knows that he's going to have to earn a spot on that team by being a special teams guy, by being a team guy in general, doing everything right. Those things are hard to find, I think, in professional sports nowadays. And so I think all that together, he's got some good skills in regards to his ability to catch football in the backfield, really smart. He's going to learn the offense in a week and know exactly what everyone's doing, because he played quarterback and all that stuff. But I think it's his versatility in that, you put a guy like that on your 53-man roster, you dress 45 for a game, he can start on all 4 special teams, can line up at wideout, can line up at tailback. And now you got a guy that can give you a lot of different roles, which in the NFL I think is important.
Smeezy, we're going to get to another soundbite here where we start talking about player comps in the NFL. But I want to give my take on what I see with this kid, because this is a team that really doesn't have a ton of playmakers. We know we need more, and we've talked about the versatile skill set of this kid. I'm curious as to how he'll be utilized with the Patriots, because what I see when I see him, 6 foot, 215, decent build on him, I kind of see a little Taysom Hill here. But your coach talked about, player comps for this kid. Let's take a listen, and then we'll react on the other side, Smeezy.
Quietly, when I would talk to NFL scouts, I used kind of the comps of like Rex Burkhead, and Danny Woodhead, and Kevin Falk, right? Like those are 3 names that I used to throw around. That he, to me, in the NFL, that's who he is. He's going to be your steady back that can play on all 3 downs, that can catch the ball out of the backfield, that can be great in pass protection, that's going to help you on special teams. He'll be as smart as the quarterbacks, and he'll be a guy that you don't want to lose. So I always told, it's funny, but I swear I'm not making it up. But I used to tell the scouts, like, he reminds me of all the Patriot running backs. Yeah. The James Whites, the Kevin Falks, the Rex Burkheads, the Danny Woodheads, all those guys where you're like, who is this guy? Like, no one knew who they were. And they just kind of go out and get it done. They can line up an empty, play receiver. They can motion back in the backfield. They can, just a lot of different things that they can do.
Yeah, do it all.
So those are going to be those would be the guys that come out. I know the McCaffrey thing, people have pumped that before. I would hate to put that pressure on him. But I would say the thing that I guess is comparable is that he's as good of a receiver as he is a running back. And I think going back to like when you were talking, hey, he's got varsity traits. They probably got traits they have to work on. I think Lan, you got to remember, Lan's only played running back for like 3 years. He's been a quarterback his whole life. So I think he still has a lot to learn in regards to his fundamentals and his vision, his patience, the things that running backs need to be great at in regards to letting plays develop and knowing when to hit it, knowing when to bounce it. Those type of things that come with reps, he still needs those. And so if a team is willing to give him the time, which in the NFL you don't know if teams are going to have that luxury, but if teams are willing to give him the time, I actually think the best version of him is probably 2-3 years from now. When he gets more carries and just more reps at running back, I think the best version of him is still very much down the road. But I think the things he does really well are good enough to hopefully keep him in the league while he gets better at those things,
Jesus Cristo. I wrote down all these names, Smeezy. I can't keep track. James White, Woodhead, Burkhead, Kevin Falk. I mean, I was losing track of names. So let me write this down. Christian McCaffrey was brought up. I told you, I think I could see them kind of using him like a Taysom Hill. We're naming all these names. Can you just tell me, where do you think this kid lands in terms of how the Patriots will utilize him?
Yeah, and so the Christian McCaffrey was brought up because I kind of mentioned to Coach Plough how, right after Lan Larison signs with the Patriots, you have all these Patriots fans on Twitter and, X and everything like that talking about how they got the next Christian McCaffrey. Right. And I said, I'm like, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. That's probably unfair to him at this point. But so that's how the Christian McCaffrey name got dropped. I thought Rex Burkhead was a really good comp. Probably, to me, probably the best one of the list that he gave. The size is pretty much exactly what Rex Burkhead was. And it's like that do it all. I mean, when Rex Burkhead and James White were together, James White was the pass catcher. Yeah. But Rex Burkhead could do everything. He could catch the ball out of the backfield, pass protection, all that sort of thing. So I thought like that comp was very interesting. Travis, to your point about Taysom Hill, I believe it was one of the who was it? Maybe Lance Zierlein or one of those, Chad Reuter, one of those guys at NFL.com.
All right.
That was the comp that they gave him on Lan Larison's scouting profile. So you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but laugh at the same time too when Coach Plough said, like, I promise I'm not making this up. I swear I'm not making it up, because it does almost sound too good to be true. You know, when you give 4 or 5 Patriot running back names and everything like that. But I thought that was great.
What I loved is that the pro comps he gave his Patriots running backs, I would give him a Julian Edelman. He said it'll take him 3 years. Edelman was a returner the first 3-4 years in the league. Year 5, he broke out as a receiver. But that'll be Lan Larison. I think he makes a roster just because what he can do as a gunner and a returner, and his versatility as well, all that added depth. This is a guy that will find the football field. And what I love you pointed out too, he's not going in saying, I should be a running back, I should be a wide receiver. He's going in saying, whatever it takes for me to make the roster. So now let's go to this from Tim Plough on Lan Larison, knowing he was going to be a Patriot before the draft ended.
I tell you that it was a pretty funny draft day for us. We knew he was going to be, if he was going to get, we were being told by people, 6th, 7th round draft pick. And so on that third day there, we were all kind of on pins and needles, kind of waiting. And there were some teams that we had thought they had told us they were really interested. And so we were kind of waiting around. But I thought the cool thing was, Lan called me, I want to say, in the 5th or 6th round. I thought he was calling me because he got drafted. But he was calling me to say that he was already decided he was going to be a Patriot. And I'm like, well, you might still get drafted, Lance. And he's like, well, yeah, that's if I don't get drafted. And I was like, well, are you sure? And he's like, well, they were so aggressive. They were so forward thinking, and they were reaching out to him far before the draft even ended. And I think that, the personal calls from Coach Vrabel, those things, again, like, I haven't been coaching in the NFL. I have a bunch of buddies in the NFL, but those things don't happen in the NFL. Like, I know that for a fact. I know that the head coach isn't personally calling, undrafted free agent guys. And so I think that really spoke to Lan and his family that, like, hey, this guy's different. This culture, this environment, this franchise is different. And when he asked me what I thought, I said, Lan, that is the perfect place for you to go. Like, if that is actually true and they really want you that bad, like, you could not pick a better place, because I don't know Coach Vrabel personally, but I admire him a great deal from afar, from what he does and how he runs his program. And as an offensive coordinator, I've been stealing and pirating stuff from Josh McDaniels since 2011, so I think he's brilliant in what he does offensively. So everything he said, the first thing I thought was just, God, this couldn't be a better fit. Now, obviously, you got to make the team, and you got to catch a break, and none of that stuff's guaranteed. But if he is going to make the league and play for a long time, which I think he is, he couldn't have landed at a better place, whether he ends up sticking there or puts good film out there and someone steals him after the preseason or something. But I just think he's in a really, really good place. And, it was pretty funny to him to say, like, well, he knows he's a Patriot. The draft isn't even over yet.
Yeah, it's how the draft works. Teams will contact the prospects. We're not going to pick you, but we will be signing you as a UDFA, excuse me. And it's also his landing spot. Checks all the boxes of what a Vrabel guy is, but it's to be with an offensive coordinator like Josh McDaniels, to be with a special teams coordinator like Jeremy Springer. That's what's big for a prospect like this, in my opinion, Sean.
Yeah, and it kind of, what Coach Plough said kind of confirmed, I believe it was a Mike Reese report, that the Patriots, that they made Lan Larison, I think the wording was one of their richest deals for an undrafted free agent. I don't think it was the richest, but it was up there. And I think that just kind of goes to show, like, their aggressiveness as well. Not only were they thinking, forward thinking and making those calls before the draft ended, but when the draft did end, they backed it up. They wrote him the check and they backed it up. So I thought that was great insight too.
Yeah, and Sean, we can't let you go without bringing up, what did Coach say about him being a state champion in steer wrestling? Because I looked up his Instagram. I saw those clips from him back in high school. If you are a healthy psychopath in the way of you will jump off a horse near full sprint and tackle a steer which is full sprint, by the horns
Why
and bring
though?
it down.
Why though?
I don't know. It's Montana. Yeah, he's from Montana. Montana.
I know.
What else? It's rodeo, man. It's rodeo.
Yeah.
What did Coach have to say about that? He's
Yeah, I
gotta put it
made
away.
a joke to him, like, is football actually his second best sport? And he said, yeah, it might be. I mean, he was a state champion in steer wrestling.
What?
I think he was like the #1 ranked steer wrestler in his age group at one point in time. I can't remember when that was, but I saw a few videos of him jumping off, and the way that Coach Plough described him was that he's cowboy tough was the phrasing. He's waking up at 4 a.m.
Oh.
He's out on the farm doing all that stuff.
Oh.
So I thought that was, yeah. I mean, steer wrestling, I wouldn't do it, but
Hell no.
I would.
certainly,
I'm
I
gonna-
certainly
George would.
appreciate it.
I'm gonna figure this out with
George
Lan.
would.
I'll see. I know Topsfield has like a big barn. Topsfield's way North Shore. You're pretty much in New Hampshire. I know they got a big like fair. They got the grounds. Do they have the steer? I don't know.
When we go to break, give us a yee-haw, George, if you really mean it. If you really mean it, as you say bye to Sean and thank him and tell
All right.
people to watch, give us a strong yee-haw.
All right, he's Sean
George,
McGuire.
where's your Jerry Jones ad?
There it is. All
Oh,
right.
it was just coming out. Excuse me.
Right.
He's Sean McGuire, Nesson.com. Sean, you always do a great stand-up hootin' tootin' job.
Hootin' tootin'.
I tell you, some people got nothing but mushed up mango between the ears. You, my friend.
What?
You got a hard watermelon about to be ripe. I say that about you in the best way possible. I always talk about you. And you know,
Go to break, Gerald.
Travis Thomas, he's Sean McGuire from Nesson.com. Sean, thanks for taking the time. See you out in the oil fields later. We'll be back with a quick yeehaw after this break. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. George Balekji, Travis Thomas.
Come on.
George Balekji, Travis Thomas. I pointed
Did
to
you call me George?
George Balekji, Travis Thomas.
Hey, man, I've been called worse. I will take being called you.
I'll
No
take the
problem.
same thing.
It's
bro.
a
That's good vibes.
compliment.
That's good energy.
That's right.
It's a handsome man.
That's right.
Just with a little less hair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, hey, listen, you never know. Nowadays with technology, I could walk in here tomorrow with a fro.
I mean, I skipped my second cup of coffee. That's why I'm mixing it up. Let's get into it. There's nothing to be mixed up about Brock Purdy, man. $181 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
5 years, $265 million
lot of cheese.
extension.
Man.
Front loaded, 165 of that milli in the first 3 years. So there's likely an opt out. Brock Purdy
I know.
got paid.
I know. What were they supposed to do, though?
Yes. This.
I see so
they were
much
supposed
hate.
to do this.
I know. And there's so much hate. He doesn't deserve it. They overpaid him. System quarterback.
Of course.
Listen, like, what are they supposed to do? They thought Trey Lance was the answer. I think Trey Lance proved it's not a system.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying other guys couldn't pick it up, but Trey Lance had issues. And that is a big, strong, physical, can throw football over those mountains type prospect. And he couldn't figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Brock Purdy comes in. He is the opposite of all of that. He's not big. He's not strong. He can't throw a football over those mountains. But between the ears, he figured out the system,
Yes.
and he's had a lot of success. You have to pay him. My thing is this. I am literally looking at the top 10 highest paid QBs in the NFL, right? Who the hell's worth the money on this list? Dak? No. Joe Burrow?
Dak at $60 million, Joe Burrow 55.
At least Joe Burrow got me to a Super Bowl, but he can't stay healthy. Josh Allen, what has he won besides nothing?
He's worth it.
Jordan Love,
Yeah.
he hasn't won anything. Trevor Lawrence, he can't stay healthy. Tua can't stay healthy. Jared Goff, I mean, another guy who's got to a Super Bowl, he hasn't won me one. And Lamar can't get out of the second round. Who isn't overpaid? This is the position,
It's
bro.
the market.
It's the market. It is what it is. So I think the Niners were in between a rock and a hard place here, and they had to pay him, and they did. I would have probably had a little more flexibility to get the hell out of this, like the no trade clause. I'm like, why? I would have negotiated that from a place of power a little more if I were the Niners to be able to move off of this kid if I had to. But they had to pay him, George. There was no other choice here. And in the end, I mean, on this list that we just showed, what's he, 7th? I could argue this is a pretty good deal.
Yes.
In that, looking at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I think the team should have had a little more flexibility to move him if need be. But good for Brock Purdy. He mastered the system.
Yes,
it's a
which is
system
difficult.
quarterback, right? He mastered it. It is tough.
He's gotten to big games.
He's gotten to big games. Right place, right time. Good on you, kid.
That's a lot of the market.
That's it.
Rarely can guys thrive and really play
That's
well
right.
in spite of. He's playing well because of.
That's right.
But think about it like this. Sam Darnold was his backup in San Francisco. He's making $33 million a year.
Sam Darnold, you're saying? Yeah.
The guaranteed money for Brock Purdy is $36 million per year over 5 years. You take that's the real money.
That's the real money.
The total value, the AAV, that's for the agents. That's for the casuals on Twitter.
That's right.
We know our viewers, our fans of Foxborough Rush, high IQ, smart people,
That's
football people, love the sport, explosive, attacking, fast, all of that.
Yep.
They understand where the real money is, but this is worth it. He has more air yards per attempt than a Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, or Matt Stafford. He also has a higher EPA than Justin Herbert, which is expected points added, Matt Stafford, and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
This is a good contract. You go through most of the stats. Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. This is a more team-friendly deal. It's 3 real years. Meanwhile, they're not paying any of their defensive linemen.
Sure.
They soon enough will not pay their offensive linemen, and they go from there. This is a deal that had to be done, and the fact that it's outside the top 5, I am surprised. Because Dak, $231 million guaranteed.
Please.
Jordan Love,
For what?
55 a year.
For what?
Brock Purdy to be right there inside the top 8. A little less than Tua. To me, that's shocking. I would have said, get me to 53.2. Just for the principle of it, pay me more than Tua. But him right there with Jared Goff, it checks out.
George, we know they've been in negotiations for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably trying to get Dak money. And good for the 49ers to be like, not no, but hell no, we're not giving you that. And they figured it out, and they reached a happy medium, which is what negotiation's all about, right?
Yeah.
My concern with this, if I'm a Niner fan, I like Brock Purdy if I'm a Niner fan. I don't love him because every big game that he's been in with really good pass rushes, he's got hurt. He's got knocked out of the game. We've seen him in bad weather. Look, if you're the Niners and you get home field throughout, okay, cool. But that ain't how it works. Not in the NFC. You usually have to go to a Philadelphia or something like that. So if you're dealing with inclement weather, he's not the guy. His
It's not
arm
the
isn't
easiest in
strong
San
enough.
Fran. It's not the easiest in San Fran, the weather.
I'm saying it's better than dealing with a snowstorm in Philly.
Yes.
Or going to D.C. and dealing with a monsoon there.
Yes.
So, again, I have some issues if I'm a Niner fan. I like him. I don't love him.
Yeah.
I like this contract. I don't love it.
And that's fine. This is a guy also. The injuries, one of those is his arm gets caught, tears up his elbow.
Yeah.
And that's from getting hit as he's throwing the football. His job is to get the plane off the ground and land it every
That's it.
Sunday, every primetime game, whatever it may be. He does that well. And I think that's what's important. In this system, he executes it to its top degree. And in a few years, this will be a bargain. Dak Prescott just got $230 fully guaranteed last offseason. Deshaun Watson, 4 years before that, got $231 million, fully guaranteed 100%.
Oh.
He's still not even close to that market.
Man.
So this is a smart deal. Brock Purdy's really good, plays in the system well. Kyle Shanahan wants who can execute his system. Brock Purdy's that guy.
All right, you're a nerd for this stuff.
Yeah.
So I pose this to you because I could care less.
Okay.
What is Drake May
I
going
knew
to
it.
get per year when it is time? If he stays on the current trajectory of badassery, what is he going to get paid when it's time?
5 years, total value, 5 years, total value around, let me go, okay, so he's going to get paid in 3 years. Now you see the mind
Wait,
going.
so he'll get paid
I'll go
in 3.
5 years.
Okay.
And the total value be $70 million a year.
Oh, my damn.
5 years, 200
What?
and $45 million fully guaranteed.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
What?
That's a lot of cabbage, man.
And he's going to be a top 5 QB.
I know, but
If you think
damn.
about it like this, Purdy with the value, he's $181 million guaranteed. Then he has the other numbers at $265. If he gets paid $265 million, that means you're winning NFC Championship games, he's setting passing records, and you're winning Super Bowls.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Just pause the show. We're not live.
Calling your son?
Honey. Yeah, what's he doing? Homework?
Throw the
Tell him
ball.
to stop! Go to the backyard and throw passes. All spirals. Send me the video. Okay, we're ready. Oh, we're live? Sorry.
You're tall, so if he takes after you, he'll have the build for a quarterback. He'll have
I
that frame.
prayed for a quarterback. I want you to know that. I prayed.
might
Kid
get
could care
one.
less about quarterback. He loves soccer, so okay. Well, I prayed for a quarterback. It didn't work.
Hey,
soccer
soccer-
players get paid too, though.
That's what I was going to say. That's real money out
They get
there.
paid.
Travis Thomas, George Balekji, Foxborough Rush. We'll take a quick break. When we're back, we got a mailbag for you guys, including, can the Patriots go undefeated at home?
Oh, that's a tease right there.
Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. George Balekji, Travis Thomas nailed it that time. God.
Nailed
Land
it.
the plane. Let's get into the mailbag. Love the questions we get from our viewers.
Yep.
Make sure to go to Nesson's YouTube page, go to our Foxborough Rush playlist, or just type in Foxborough Rush Nesson on YouTube.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Before you get into this,
Yeah.
you weren't here the last Foxborough Rush.
Ooh.
I was going at it. It was me and Keegan, and then people were just hammering us in the comments for things that I said. So I took accountability. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay.
I took accountability.
All right, we'll start with this.
Or 2 episodes ago.
Here is Christian Navarro, 8437.
All right.
Ceiling record 5-12.
What?
Floor record 3-14. Is that right?
You tripping.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Come on, Navarro.
What are you hating on?
Yeah. Look, floor.
It's
It could
6
go,
wins.
I mean, I don't see. He said 3.
Yes,
Look,
I'm not agreeing with that 3-14
I'm not
record.
either, but
That'd have to be nightmare scenario.
if someone gets hurt, Vrabel's not what we thought, and we're like, okay. But the ceiling 5 wins, you're tripping. Like, come on now.
I can't believe that. Let me pull up the schedule.
So listen,
we don't see these until we read them.
I have sort of a weird floor ceiling thing too, but it's much higher. I think,
they play.
Floor I have 6.
They play.
Ceiling I have 9.
They play the Saints, Titans, and Browns in 3 straight weeks.
That's 3 right there.
Against rookie quarterbacks, exactly. They also open up against the Raiders, Dolphins, Steelers, and Panthers.
Yeah,
they're going to split the first 4.
Yeah.
They also have the Jets twice because of their division. The Dolphins at home, Week 18. Tua is going to be hurt, and that team's going to be soft. Mike McDaniels will be fired. And they got Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston at best on December 1st at home.
Christian Navarro, we love you, but you tripping. And we love you so we can tell you when you're tripping.
Here's from Maxwell.
Take your time.
Lepowski. 520.
I don't know.
I really believe we can win all our home games.
All your home games?
Here are the home games. Raiders, Steelers, Panthers. I think they win all 3 of those. Browns, Falcons. I think they'll lose to the Falcons. I think it's a sneaky trap game.
Yeah.
Jets, Giants, Bills off a bye, Dolphins at home. They could go undefeated at home. They can.
They can, but will they?
But they can. That's not out of the question.
I think.
There are comments where if you tell me their ceiling is 5 wins, I'm going to say, please, we'll bring you on the show, just give it thought.
Put it this way. I believe in this one more than I do that one.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I don't believe in either.
Little Noogs, 9942.
Little Noogs!
Or Nugs, like Nuggets.
Oh.
Guys, come on. This is a weak-ass schedule. This is going to totally be a different team.
I hope so.
The struggles in Miami won't be the same as it's been in years past.
Okay.
I see them going 5-1, maybe 4-2 in the AFC East.
Okay.
They have to handle every team they face this year.
All right.
I think they'll be able to do that. I believe. All right, Little Nugs.
We believe,
9942.
too.
I like it.
We believe, too. I think you're
That sounds
closer
pointed
to
at
this
you.
than they are. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Little Nugs, George is with you. I ain't.
All right.
I ain't. You ain't beating the Bills. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills sweep you.
The Bills at home out of a bye is massive.
Bills, yeah. I think the Bills sweep you. I think
the Jets may split just because.
I think you probably split with the Jets and probably split with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So what's that? I mean, that's not a terrible record, but 5-1, 4-2 in the division. I'm not there yet. I think it's a little premature. That's just me.
Eberth Cordero. Hopefully, Mr. T-Rex Arms becomes a great left tackle for the Patriots. Is that you?
Yeah.
What did you say?
I was
What
just
did you
doing
do while I was
this. I was
gone?
doing a lot of this.
Thriller?
Yeah, with the T-Rex. And I agree. Just because I was making fun of that's not it.
Pharaoh?
Yes.
I love it, as you know.
Thriller's like this.
Dude, I will say this time and time again. He has slim shoulders.
He is.
He has tiny shoulders.
But
that's where your wingspan comes from.
But new age offensive linemen do look like that, George. It's been a long time since we've seen a mountain of a man at left tackle. Most of them nowadays are a little bit leaner than what we grew up with because they have to be.
Think of defensive ends now.
Yes.
They look like safeties.
That's right.
Off-ball linebackers
That's what I'm saying.
look like safeties
So
we
I'll
grew
give
up
them
watching.
a pass for that. I did call him T-Rex Arms. I was out of pocket. I apologize.
Yes.
I was out of pocket.
Let's spread love here.
I was out of pocket.
Spread love, optimism, like them winning 11 games.
Yeah.
And
I
winning
know.
their division.
I said at the top of the show, like,
I'm never
every
leaving.
championship team has a knucklehead.
Maybe it's Will Campbell. Oh, you're saying for you.
With his T-Rex arms. Sorry.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Foxborough Rush. Hey, guys, make sure to catch new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Nessa Nation Fast Channel. You can find it if you got Roku or certain TVs. You got just check it out. Hit the home button. You'll see stuff. It's like when the random, like you get in a hotel room and a random channel comes up. You're like, what is this? But it's live TV. Search for Nessa Nation, and you'll find Foxborough Rush Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
That's a great analogy. It always happens.
I check into an
Like, what is this?
Airbnb doesn't have cable, which is fine, but they have that, and I go, how?
How?
We're on there now.
This is more complex, but we're there.
Hey, we're
you
there.
You will find us.
I'm not hating.
At a local Airbnb near you.
Or check us out on YouTube to watch as well. Listen to Spotify, listen on Amazon, listen on Apple as well. Wherever you get your podcasts, new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. live, and dropping right after as well. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. We'll see you guys next time on Foxborough Rush. Later.